two pieces. I prefer doing them in different colors. I think it's easier to see. You can do them all in the same color if that's what you would like, but these two pieces are 7 yards apiece. We don't really need quite that much cord, but I use that much because I take some of the leftovers and I use it to make a crown button knot in my cross. We're going to take these two 7-yard pieces and we're going to find the middle. I know some of you don't like to work with cord that's this long, and in some ways I don't either, but I really don't like splices. I don't like splices much, period, but I really don't like them in these prayer ropes. So I use long cord for these projects, and this is one of the things that happens when you use long cord is you get knots and tangles in it. I'm willing to accept that trade-off. I think it's worth it to deal with the knots, to not have to deal with now we're going to take, now that we've got all 4 ends together, we're going to take our cross and we're going to place it on there and run it all the way down to the center of our 2 pieces of cord. And once I get it down there, I always run back through to make sure we're at least close to center of the pieces. And you can see that one of these multicolored pieces is not centered. The other one's not either, but it's not as bad. But as long as I'm fixing it, I might as well go back and fix that one too. Okay, and obviously the teal colored cord is a little bit longer, so we're going to pull it up tight with the other. Now, this knot is the basis. The basic part of this knot is the basis for everything you're going to do in these knots. There are 50 knots on the rope, and actually there's 51. This one doesn't really count as being a knot, so it's the 51st knot, but it's also the very first one you tie. So we're going to take, I've heard this called a flat weave or a flat braid, several different explanations for what it's called. Well, several of these are that way that I've heard different things that called them, and I don't know if there's an official name or not, but you're going to take the left one and you're going to go over your other cord. You're going to take the right one and bring it back to yourself. Then you're going to take the one that's sticking out the right side. You're going to go over the one closest to it and under the other one. Oftentimes I will run both of them through and then pull out the excess, but for this purpose today, for our video, we'll do it this way. Now we're going to take the one that's on the left. We're going to go over the teal one on the left and under the one on the right. Now when we get into the main knots, you're going to see that this was different. We're going to pull this one all the way up tight. And now that particular braid, if we kept doing it exactly the way we did that one, would end up making a square braid, but we need to make one round. So if you aren't familiar with this, now you're going to take these two and you're going to run from this corner to this corner. You're going to come across it from corner to corner and do the same thing on the other side. Now you're going to take one on your right. Again, it's just like before. You're going to go over the right-hand multicolored one and pull all the way through. And then you're going to go over the left-hand multicolored and under the right and pull it all the way through. Now, we're not going to quite tighten this down as much as we did before. In the first video, I told you the tools you would need. I didn't say them this time. You can You don't need these for a while. It'll probably be a much later video before we get to that. But you do need, well, you don't need scissors for today's either. But I recommend that you get a crochet hook. This one is a 9mm size M. I have used the ones on either side and size-wise of this one. But this is the one I like the best. You may find that another one does. You're not going to be crocheting, but it makes it easier to pull these through. So we're going to take this hook. You can do it without it, but we're going to take this hook and we're going to come through underneath that teal. Now we're going to bring the teal cord underneath the multicolored cord. We're going to catch it with our crochet hook and then pull it through. And I got another knot in it, so we're going to take that out before we move on. Now we're going to continue to work our way around, and you're going to take the multicolored and come under the teal. Now, when we did this flat braid before, it actually dictates the direction that you come around the knot. The way I'm showing you, you come clockwise around the knot. Pull that multicolored cord, go underneath the teal one, pull it through that hole that's created by the opposite multicolored end. Now you've got 2 of the 4 done, and we're going to take this teal one, bring it under the multicolored one, take our hook, and grab that teal one and pull it through. Now, we've got the other 3 through. They go through exactly the same process. But now we're going to take, because there's nothing for you to come underneath with this one, and we still need it to go underneath. So we're going to, where the teal one and the multicolored one cross, you can see the cross right here. Where they cross, we're going to bring our hook underneath both of them, come under and catch the multicolored, and then we're going to pull it all the way through too. And for a few minutes, we're through with our crochet hook. I tease my wife and tell her that it's really not a crochet hook, it's a prayer rope hook. And as I wouldn't have a crochet hook, but I recognize what it really is. And there you have, this knot is called the invitation knot. It's bigger than all of the others. It's also the knot that's used to tie off the ends once you have all 50 knots in the rope. Now, from here on, these knots are just like the last part of that invitation knot. We're going to measure up a little bit more than a finger's width, and you're going to take the teal cord on the left and put it opposite of you, and the teal cord on the right, bringing it toward you. Take the multicolored cord, go over the one on the right and under the one on the left, making a weave. Sorry about that, didn't mean to hit the camera. And we're going to pull this up semi-tight. Now, different from this knot, we're only doing this one time. We did it twice with that knot, but we're just going to do it once. You don't have to pull it particularly tight because you're going to be running your hook through it again, your prayer rope hook. So we're going to take in this case, the multicolored one's the one sitting on top. So we're going to take the multicolored cord, run it underneath the teal cord, bring our hook underneath that multicolored cord, and pull it through. On the next knot, I'll show you how to do it without using the hook. I've got so many hooks around here now, I kept losing them and buying more, and I don't have a lot of trouble with not being able to find one anymore because there are so many around my house. I'm going to bring the teal one underneath the multicolored and then bring our hook underneath that and pull that teal through. The third piece, I'm going to take that multicolored cord, run it underneath the teal, and take and run our hook underneath that piece of multicolored cord, grab the one we had brought underneath the teal and pull it through. And this is the first knot that actually counts. Now, sometimes they'll get like this where the two colors are opposite each other. It's just in the way that you pull it together. I do it all the time. But you're going to want to take this, in this case, piece of teal, and you're going to want to pull it in between those two so that you actually have them, instead of technically side by side, you have them across from each other. Now, you can make this space a little bigger if you like. That's about what I usually do. By the time I tighten the knot up, it's about a finger width's length in between. And I told you that I would tell you how to use these. These are optional. I don't use them much anymore, but I did use them for a long time because it helps just to make a more consistent space between the knots. They do break easy, so you want to be careful, but you grab a teal and a multicolored and push it all the way through. Now, you can take and you could put another one on the other side, but I never did see a lot of point in that. Now I've got something that's just holding space for me, so I'm gonna make sure that my multicolored here is in the center. I'm gonna take the left side and I'm gonna go across away from me. I'm gonna bring the right side back to me. I'm going to take the teal, go over the right, and under the left. This is what I also do sometimes. Then I'll take the other teal, go over the left and under the right, and then I pull both of them through. I don't know why I like doing it that way, I just do. It doesn't make a lot of difference. And now we're going to take this and we're going to pull it down. Not super tight on that piece of plastic. You want to have it as basically down on top of that knot. This is mostly to give yourself just a little bit of space, because when you're praying with these things, you want to be able to feel the difference. Okay, now we're going to take our hook again, just like before. We're going to go through underneath the teal. It doesn't matter which of these you start with. Bring the teal under the multicolored and then grab it with our hook and pull it through. Take the multicolored, come underneath the teal, take your hook and pull it all the way through. Teal underneath the multicolored, hook underneath the opposite teal, pick up the one that you were just handling and pull it through. And then for the last strand, you're going to find that place where the multicolored and the teal cross. Bring your cord through that hole, leaving the cross on top of your hook. Pick up that multicolored that's still outside and pull it through. And now we'll take and we'll tighten that up again. Prayer ropes are actually part of the Orthodox tradition, used quite a bit in the Eastern Orthodox Church. My ropes, I want to tell you, are not Orthodox prayer ropes. They're made out of paracord. Orthodox prayer ropes are made out of wool. I do have an Orthodox one somewhere. Now, again, with the spacer, this time we're going to pick up, on the first one we picked up these two on this side. Now we're going to pick up the two on the other side.